What? Huh? Muff, you want to watch? You gonna watch? You gonna learn something today? You gonna learn something? You gonna get taught something today? I got a celebrity dog trainer come on. Maybe we'll teach you a trick right on the freaking fly.
What?
I wonder if we.
Muff, you want to watch?
Oh wait, I gotta
You
turn
wanna
that
watch?
off.
You learn something today? You
I'm
gonna
on the
learn
big screen. I gotta turn myself
something? You
off.
taught something today?
She's gonna freak.
Celebrity dog trainer.
Oh.
We'll teach you a trick.
I have too many screens going at once. We're fighting over screens. We're about to get going. Ryan Matthews, a longtime friend of mine, celebrity dog trainer, is going to come on the show tonight. I'm actually really pumped about this because it's been a minute since I've talked to Ryan, and he has an incredible story that I know is going to bless you guys. I'm not going to dive into it as much. We'll dive into it when he jumps on. He'll jump on. He probably going to be late. Celebrity dog trainer. You put celebrity in front of anything, he probably going to be late to the show. Don't worry about it. He's coming. He's on that California time. Working on that California time. I met Ryan, let's see, over, man, probably had to have been over 10 years ago. Probably about 10, 11 years ago in northern Colorado. He was at the top of the game, but that's all I'm going to tell you. Hey, did you hear about I haven't heard about anything. I haven't heard about nothing. Look at this, Muff. You going to come over here and learn something? Yeah, tell these people this one's about doggies. Doggies, huh? This podcast is all about doggies, huh? Doggies and only doggies. We talk enough about everything else. We're talking about doggies tonight. We break the internet when we talk about dogs. General's over there feeling all left out. Muffin's all ready to get on with this podcast. What's up? Come here. Wait, you're not coming? You're not going to stay over here? What if Ryan don't show up? You got to be my guest. See what I'm saying? Muffs. What? What are you going to say? I got a guest on here in just a little bit. He's going to teach me how to deal with you. Make him do that live on the air. So, that's who's coming on tonight. Dog trainer. That's what tonight's about. And I ain't talking about nothing else. I ain't getting distracted. I'll turn chat off and be like, I ain't listening. Put up my promos. You can find more of me over here at the TikTok, Dad with a Phone, YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you can. Oh, I could. You know what I could do? I could take us back a minute, but I think I'm going to wait for that. I'll wait for that. So, Ryan is been training dogs for a minute. He's had to have been in the game. I don't know if it's 20 years, 15 years. It's got to be double digits. So I'm excited. I wanted to make sure I was up and running. He's going to join us at 8 o'clock. Chances are, celebrity dog trainer, he'll probably be a little bit late. That's just that. I'm just guessing, right? But he might be right on time. Cup of coffee ready to go. It's early there in California. He's an hour earlier, so. I'm all prepared and ready to go. Feeling good tonight. Actually, I'm feeling better than I felt in a minute. In SAR, the do. If I could make a living training dogs, I probably would have become a dog trainer about the time I met Ryan. But he was at the top of the game too, so it was a little alluring on the level that Ryan was dog training for me. So Dogs go through a lot of training. Yes. WKYC Channel 3 Live. Hey, D-Wop, did you know this one's going to be fun? It is absolutely going to be fun. If it's just for me, it's going to be fun. I'll be happy about it. I probably kicked off this live. There's a bunch of stuff. If you guys haven't been watching Dad with a Phone today, y'all need to just go catch up. If you need some crime in your life, go catch up. I got hard drives full today, so we'll be looking at some. I'll probably pop that out tomorrow at some point. I'm gonna take y'all on a ride through a story. Tonight, it's all about the puppies. The puppies. I have cats here, but it'll be great anyway. Oh, well, sure. The cats, the documentary Don't F with Cats. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't F with, oh, we might have a guest. False alarm. Somebody must have. How did somebody get that? Somebody nailed my stream, huh? Is my stream trying to get hacked? Better not be trying to hack my stream tonight. Let's see here. We're working on the YouTube. We are live on the YouTube. We're live on the Facebook. Now I just need a guest, but I'm still early. I run early on everything. Doesn't take any talent to be early. That's what I tell my kids. It's the only thing in life you need no talent to be early. To be late, I swear it takes talent to be late. Ryan is a TEDx speaker and a TED Talk guy. He's done a couple of TED Talks. He lives out in California. He's dog trainer through and through, but he's doing a bunch of public speaking. I was lucky enough to snag him maybe, and he's probably on a speaking tour right now. I'm gonna tease him about it. He's looking all good. I was just looking at his press packet. I was like, damn, boy's got a press packet and everything looking good. What, huh? You're anxious too, I know. You want to know why this ain't happening yet, huh? Patience, Muff. Patience, he's coming. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. If he came now, he'd be early. Can't be no celebrity dog trainer and be early. Uh-oh. I know why Muffin's got all worked up. I hear the Dalton clan about to walk in. That's what. Look at him right on time. Not even a little bit late.
How you doing, man?
You're live. I'm live. Hey, we're live. Just so you know, and you're loud. I'm loud. Turn my ears down. You're loud. You there?
Yeah, you want me to turn myself down?
Turn yourself down. You hurt my ears. All crazy. Like, look at you looking all good, man.
Yeah, brother. It's like SoCal's rubbing off on me. Is that better with the volume?
I don't know. Chat's gonna tell me in a second. They're gonna be like, "No, it's too loud." I don't worry about it. You sound good. I got you.
All right.
Yeah, you got the tan on. That hat's become like little signature for you.
Yeah, that's the signature, man.
I like it. I like it. Bro, man, it's been a minute. I was thinking about it the last time I had seen you. It's been 10 years probably since we've been face to face.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably about right.
What, Loveland, Colorado?
Yeah, 2008 or 9.
Yeah,
Wow.
so right there, 2020, that's way too long for sure. I mean, we've been in contact through social media through the years, but face to face, bro. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man, you too, for sure.
It's definitely good to see you. All right, man. So I've talked you up a little bit, but I mean, how long you been in the dog training business?
Yeah, so I entered the game in 2002 training military working dogs.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been in it almost 20 years, 18 years or something like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely dating myself, man.
But it's a career. I mean, after I met you, I always said, man, if I could make a living training dogs, that seems like a fun time. But you were at the height of your career. You were at the height of it then. Tell us, coming through that, the military, learning to train dogs, why dog training? Why'd you get into this thing?
Yeah, man. Well, I never really had dogs growing up, and when I joined the Army, I really joined to run away. I was involved in a stabbing where my friend tried to rob me, and I tried to stab him, and then he threatened to blow my head off with a shotgun a few days later, and I chose to run away, man. And I went into the military, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but, I figured, look, I need to clean myself up, so I figured, give me military police, right? And I figured that would straighten me out, and then give me overseas so I could run away. And so that's what I did. And there isn't a whole lot of cool things to do as military police, but when I was on a deployment to Croatia, I saw the canine guys, and I was like, man, that seems really cool. I think that's where it's at. And so I had done the canine thing by way of the colonel that I drove for. And that's how I got involved. So my first dog was like this 95-pound German Shepherd trained to attack drug detection dog, right?
Nice. At that point, you were just, it had to have been kind of fun. I mean, you got this dog, you're kind of in this special branch of the military. It's got its own little status. What did you do? What was your job in the military with your dog there?
Yeah, well, I started off as a drug dog handler. So the funny part was, the reason I joined the Army was that stabbing was the guy tried to rob me of drugs. So you got this former drug dealer now working a drug dog, man. Stuff comes back full circle, right?
This is how life works, though. Drug dealers always make the best cops.
That's right. Well, the whole cop thing only lasted for 6 months, actually. Well, and then I graduated up to a bomb dog, and that was really cool. Until it wasn't, so I was able to work with Secret Service doing sweeps for 4-star generals and Secretary of Defense and Vice President, and all that kind of stuff. And it seems cool. The stuff I've done to the public seems really cool. And I guess it was. I've trained dogs to do the bite work and attack, and trained dogs to sniff out drugs or explosives, and can even train dogs to find people in the building and yank them out, right? And at the same time, I remember my very first bomb threat, and it seemed like kind of cool and all that stuff when I talk about it, but the reality is, it's cool till it's not. It's not so cool when you realize the severity of what you're doing. You're literally going in to find a bomb. And I'll never forget, man, like, I told myself this mantra of I am dead on the way to search this bomb threat sweep. And, I never let go of that mantra, man. And then, as you know, I ended up facing some really life-threatening illnesses. And so, for the audience, it's really important what we say to ourselves, right? So that's pretty much what I did. Oh, and then in 2005, I volunteered to go overseas with my explosive detection canine. And that was an experience. I was one of probably a few soldiers that never did receive any type of training before combat.
Man. So yeah, I got you. That's it, and that's just the start, and that's just getting started.
Right.
And that wouldn't even, and even those things, they shape you and formed you, and they did. And fast forward, you went into the civilian dog training world, and I've said it. You're at the top of the game when it comes
Yeah.
to that. I mean, in a booming area here in Colorado, you had partners all over the country. Y'all were branding this incredible dog training.
Yeah, we were. We really were, man. We were old school guerrilla marketing for sure. And what was interesting is that what brought me to Colorado was actually a woman. And so I don't know that you're aware. I don't know if I had shared that with you and the fam, but I moved to Colorado because I was involved in a really horrific ATV accident where I drove the ATV over a mountain cliff with my ex-girlfriend on the back. She held on to it for dear life, and the ATV crushed her body. And I rolled down the mountain cliff, busted my helmet. I think you ride bikes.
Yeah.
I busted my helmet open on a boulder, woke up choking up water in a stream, and wasn't able to walk. And then adrenaline kicked in, and found her pinned under the ATV, man. And that truly broke my heart. And this poor woman, she was like 30 minutes from not making it. And so I'm really happy to say that she survived. But I've always blamed myself for my carelessness and my reckless behavior, and so I moved to Colorado to take care of her and to help nurse her back to her health, as that was, I felt, my duty and the right thing to do. And so that's why I moved to Colorado. And then being there, I was like, man, what am I gonna do for work anyways? And then I had started to shadow this dog trainer. I was like, wow, this stuff's pretty easy. And then the dog trainer started to pay me to do consultations for her clients. I was like, oh, she must think I know something. And next thing you know, I kind of just got it going. And then I bought into a franchise for $12,000, and I converted that $12,000 into close to $1 million in 2.5 years in pet dog training.
And then I remember. I mean, I was there. I saw it. As a matter of fact, just to bring something up real quick, I thought I want to share just something with you guys, just real quick. Let me make sure I got this. I want to make sure I got the right one. I need to go. I got to grab something real quick. I just happened to find something today when I was looking around things in Ryan. So Ryan and I did some work together. I did some video work with Ryan.
Oh yeah.
And so I happened to come across one of these. So I just wanted to share this because this is at the moment when Ryan, you're doing video work. And
man.
You're training,
doorway and ripping down.
you're doing these little start of these little lessons in these classes.
All just to
And I remember shooting this at the dog park up at Fort Collins with you. And I mean, that's right there in the peak of your years there with the dog training stuff. And so you were not only doing videos like that, but you were on the television screen. You were with commercials. You had stuff running all over the northern Colorado area. You were, for all intents and purposes, a private dog trainer, booked out for weeks.
Yeah, man. It was about a month at that point. When everything changed, it was about a 3 to 4 week wait, and doing about, I remember my best day was about $8,600 in one day. Dog training, man.
Dog training, man.
Who would have thought?
Puppies. And we had moved away from up there in northern Colorado, but I was still keeping in touch with you.
Yeah.
And when I found out because I was trying to send a client. My boss, ex-NFL football player, lived up in northern Colorado, Fort Collins. I said, hey, he had got this dog. I said, man, you need to go take it to Ryan over at the off leash,
That's right.
And all of a sudden, I got a message from him, and that message was, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And so, what happened? What happened at the peak of it, man?
Yeah. So at the peak, I was working so hard, and you know what? You probably experienced it. You're a really sharp guy. Your family's smart. Man, I was really into making the sale. It was feeding my ego, and I was doing my business from my head, not my heart. And it took me a long time to have that shift, And so I was all in ego and selling, 70% conversion rate through a demonstration model, which is pretty much unheard of in sales. You guys know that do sales, and but I was feeding a drug. I had a drug, and that was work, so that I would suppress PTSD is what I was really trying to do. All these negative thoughts. So, I didn't want to have those obtrusive thoughts, so I just kept working. Well, I suppressed stomach pain for 5 months, and so this stomach pain ended up getting so bad. One morning, I threw up something, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. I wasn't like partying the night before or nothing crazy like that. I rushed to the ER. And within 24 hours, I'm in an ambulance, and they're hauling me down to Denver to have emergency surgery to remove a stage 3 colon cancer mass.
I remember this like it was yesterday when you went through this.
And they're like, look, man, you're young. We're going to blast you with chemo. And I was like, I still kind of Army style. I didn't really value myself or my body. I'm like, yeah, do what you need to do, tough guy. And so that's what they did. And after the first round of chemo, this was in the very end of June, on the 4th of July, a day that I would normally go hide out in the mountains, man, because I didn't want to hear the fireworks and stuff. I ended up having a widowmaker heart attack. And that was just what? So May was cancer, July 4th was the heart attack. And, I still really needed that drug. So I went back to work just a month after, man. And that's nuts. Like, look, if anyone ever has a heart attack, number one, I hope you don't. Number two is, take the time to recover and take care of yourself first. And I didn't, man. I just really needed that drug. I was really addicted to my work. And that was one of the biggest mistakes of my life, if not I would say it is the biggest mistake, because what happened next changed my life for many years. And that's when my dog, Montage, who you shot a promo video with, she's a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, and just I want to explain something. Montage was a machine. She was a tool. She was the most trained dog I'd ever seen in my life. This dog had been in my backyard. Like I said, we had shot promo videos with her around. So Montage was, between like you and me, Montage probably one of the best dogs I've ever seen, never laid eyes on. And I know that she was just she was it.
That was my girl, man. That I remember that dog. She's about 5 times the dog that I have now, because I don't do much tricks with the dog I have now. However, the relationship that I have now with this dog, my dog's not robotic, but my dog is more so in my heart because I was able to open up more finally. But Montage, man, I remember she would crawl backwards, crawl forwards, roll left, roll right. She would just she had probably 30, 40 tricks she would do.
She was all day long. And so this and she helped you build the business. When you talk about demonstrations and direct sales, it's hard to turn and say, oh my goodness, if you can teach me half of what you know with Montage, I'm there. And so you're there 4th of July, and
that's
you
right.
have the heart attack, you're trying to recover, but you go back to work. So
I needed that drug. I go get that drug. And so Montage had a real small sore on her paw, and she kept licking it, and where I would kennel her was on the other side of where my desk was. And I was like, I kept hearing it, and I was like, wow, what's going on? So I go and look, and I see a real small sore, like half the size of a dime. But she kept licking it, and my real basic common logic, and I don't know much about health stuff, but my logic was that a wet wound won't heal. And so I put a big muzzle on her, we call it an agitation muzzle, one that they can easily open and close their mouth. But the problem was Montage was not conditioned to wearing a muzzle. So when I put it on her, she just charged after me. And that's when I went into fear mode. The thing that I've learned about fear is sometimes from fear, it can breed irritability and even aggression. And so that's what I did. To say that the cancer and the heart attack and PTSD didn't play a role, I'd be lying. And so I overreacted, man. When she charged after me, I tossed her and I struck her with a closed fist a couple of times. And, I acted out of fear. And, she ended up getting confiscated because my office manager turned me in for animal cruelty. And I immediately hired an attorney and I showed her the video. And she watches it and she's like, Ryan, you're overreacting. This is not a big deal. And, we're just going to make a donation and to the Humane Society and you're going to be fine. And I was like, okay, yeah. And because there was no injuries to the dog. Well, within 24 hours, everything changed. There was the media out in front of my facility. The news reporters were there. I was on the front page of the newspaper, and my attorney was definitely wrong. And even though my dogs got confiscated, turned into the Humane Society, and the veterinarian at the Humane Society gave a report saying there was no injuries to my dog, I was still charged with animal cruelty. My attorney was like, I haven't told anyone this part, but my attorney said, hey, you don't know your mortality. You're 30 years old. You had stage 3 colon cancer, and you need to take a plea, or otherwise you're going to be in court for 5 years. I remember there was protesters. We had to sneak me into the trial, like in my attorney's car, because the protesters wanted to picket, maybe riot, who knows. They never did hold up the signs, but I remember seeing them rolled up and resting below their legs or in between their legs. And it was nuts. I remember 6 news cameras at my trials or whatever court stuff, and I haven't shared that part either. And I was hounded, man. And you know what I did? I hid. And so it resulted in me losing the business for 2 years. I couldn't work with dogs. I got locked up for a month. And the worst part was they took Montage. And I was I've never been quite the same. And at the same time, I had some realizations a few years ago, and because of that, I'm done hiding, and I definitely own what had happened. And at the same time, I also know that there's no excuse, and at the same time, I know that it really wasn't as bad as it was portrayed. And
absolutely. And first of all, I don't know about my listeners, but I know about me. You don't. I know. And
Yeah.
so I know what transpired and how it was handled. In a sense, the media will blow things up, and they were going to make an example of you, and no matter what. And you lived through that, though. That's the best part. The best part about this is this story is just getting started, kid. Any normal person, this could destroy their life. This could literally take them off the edge, right? That destroyed a business, destroyed a reputation. We see in today's society, don't fuck with cats, right? In the Netflix, you don't mess with dogs, So how all of a sudden this could have destroyed your life and taken something away from all of us, because frankly, Ryan Matthews was created to work with dogs. That's why you were here. That's the bond that I've seen you with animals. So for me, when I heard it from a guy I had told to send it. I told my boss to go there and get dog training. He calls me back and it's like, dude, that guy's beating dogs. I'm like, what? No. And so I remember reaching out to you and talking to you during this and as you went through that. But so the story doesn't end though. You go through some stuff. There's some dark times ahead when you've been labeled a animal cruelty or an abuser of animals. And so what happens? Tell us what happened.
Yeah. You know what was so interesting was that is clients and people that knew me, they would continuously reach out for support. And I remember they would make me meals and bring them to me and stuff. And because I just hid. I hid for 5 years, man. And, I didn't even want to leave the house. And the other part about knocking me off was that, like you said, I was on top. So it's kind of a juicy story to knock someone off the top that's doing stuff on TV or this and that. And I get it at the same time. And you know what? I wouldn't change any of it because I needed that. And the other things that would happen as well, I needed that through my evolution, and to have a greater appreciation for dogs and animals in general, and also, most importantly, so that I can be open to evolving as a human being and evolving how I interact with them as it relates to how I train, right? So now I do more like intuitive work, like it's kind of woo-woo, almost hippie stuff, right? And so it's kind of crazy, man. Like I'll predict stuff that's about to happen with dogs now. It's different, and it's really cool, and it feels the best. Someone asked me recently, like within a month, they're like, when were you on top, or when did you know that you're the real deal and very good at what you do? And I was like, wow. And I said, it hasn't been up until now, because you can feel it. You dance with the animal, and I have this different certainty now when I work with a client or the dog, and so now is the time where I know that I absolutely am getting results, but more importantly, I'm transforming the life in a really natural, simpler way than before.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because, dog training to me seems like it's been around thousands of years. Like the bond between a man and his hounds, or the hunter and the hound, and throughout whatever 10,000 years, and now man's best friend. You say dog spelled God backwards.
That's right. Yeah, dog is God spelled backwards. That's how we end the second TEDx talk.
Yeah. And so like the bond between a dog and a person, there's something special there, like any other animal, like no other animal on earth. And so tell me a little bit about this. You've been kind of on a little bit of a movement with these TEDx talks, doing some radio shows and some podcasts. Obviously coming on Dad with a phone. I got the best dog trainer here that I can find, but very qualified. Where is life now? I know you went through the dark ages, and you have a whole system that helped you get out of this, and you can share about that. But where is Ryan now? What's happening? What's going on?
Yeah, well, before we get to the fun stuff, I just want to highlight that, I want people to know that regardless of where they're at, there's another side. So those 5 years I was hiding, I was suicidal, pretty much every single day. And I would have done it, except for I didn't want to upset or offend my grandmother. That's been my one constant person in my life. And because of her, I didn't do it, man. But if she wasn't here, I probably would have done it. And the other piece is that, I'm really meant to be of service and do some big things. And so I'm really grateful that I'm still here, and that, I never followed through with any plan. And so now, and also I want to share that, cancer, heart attack, jail, none of that woke me up. And so I also hope that the listeners cannot be so damn stubborn as me and can wake up way prior to me. Because look, man, we don't need to go through all that pain. And so it actually, about 3 years ago, I went through a second heart attack, is what I thought it was. And my head's about to hit the ground, like I'm literally about to, I think, pass out. And I don't know if I was passing out to pass out or pass out to die at 35 years old. And that's when I was like, oh man, I didn't do everything I wanted to do. And this panic set in, and I could barely talk, and I called 911, and I was so weak I could hardly talk. And I remember that I had this immense regret, and I reached out to this higher power, and I begged for another chance at life. I admitted that I wasn't the human being I thought I could be or wanted to be, and I also admitted that I didn't know how to do it, right? I didn't know how to get to where I wanted to be. But I did promise and commit that I'd figure it out. And as I made that promise, and also made a soul contract that once I figured it out, I would help other people. And once those two realizations, I start to feel better. It was crazy. Ambulance comes, EKG, and all this kind of stuff, and went to the ER, and they actually don't know what happened. And I don't know or care what happened because I know what happened. I woke the fuck up, right? About 3 years ago. And then I went on this self-discovery journey, man, doing all these modalities of healing, and I've loved it. I've loved learning and growing, and that's brought me to today. And so I'm no longer being silent. I'm open about what had happened with the animal cruelty case and PTSD and trauma and me being molested as a little boy. Like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, the world needs more vulnerability, I feel, because what we learn is like, oh shit, I thought I was the only one. Right? And what we learn is like, no, you're not alone at all. And there's some peace of mind in that for each of us. And so that's how I choose to show up. And I think us as males, as men, could use a whole lot more of that. I was just at this personal growth and development workshop for the past 2 days on conflict resolution. 27 women and 6 men. I was like, man, this is bullshit. Like, we need more men here.
Well, the problem is my listenership's like 98% women too, bro. So
okay.
Like,
so they're like, get these guys straight, man. Well, I'll tell the ladies we're working on it. Okay.
We're working on it. We're trying. I'm trying to
lead by example.
Here. No, yeah. Definitely. No, and it isn't the same thing, man. The world is made up of men who are scared to share their story. You know, there are old biblical proverbs that say that you are set free by the word of your testimony. And like, the more that you tell your story, the more that you share these things that you've been through, these ups and downs, highs and lows. I mean, you've literally lived 3 lifetimes or 4 lifetimes, you know, and there is something special about that when you share this stuff. And I know that it encouraged me even just to watch, because I got to watch it, right? I got to see you at the top. I got to see the world try to slam you. I got to see you go in hiding, and then all of a sudden, bam, bam, video here, this, that. Oh my, book here, a book there, you know. And all of a sudden, it was like, this story wasn't written yet. This is just getting started.
We're just getting started, baby. That's the thing.
So you've already tried to die twice on us. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You're not a cat lover, because Cass got the 9.
Yeah. Man, that was the first TEDx talk. I was like, although I'm a dog trainer, I'm more like a cat, and then I got 9 lives. And I was like, I only got a few left. Absolutely. And so the other part of all of this is like, look, I could say, you know, hey, have pity on me, but I'm like, no, keep that. I don't need it. Right? And I'm more interested in like inspiring myself and other people, more importantly, like that being of service. And so you would think that there's no way you could come out of something like this or clean it up, or, you know, and so it's taken a lot of work. And at the same time, I know that I wouldn't have been dealt this if I wasn't able to handle it.
Absolutely.
And I feel fortunate that I was chosen to go through so much. And so, you know, the other part is this duality of life. So I know that as bad as it's been, I know that it can also get really damn good. So that started to happen, right? And so I hope that this can also inspire the audience of, you know, finding their passion and really lean into being of service. You know, gain mastery at whatever it is that you're good at. And if you're not good at something, I feel as though it's our duty is really dial something in. We all should contribute, I feel, to whatever it is that we're passionate about, and share that gift with other people. And that's what it's about, right? Help other lives. So, yeah, man, I've been on fire. These opportunities continue to present themselves. And, you know, it didn't happen before. I mean, things were really great before. But at the same time, you know, I was hiding from this PTSD. It was consuming my life day in and day out. And I was performing. Well, now, yes, I'm still performing, but now it's different. You know, I've learned to open up my heart. And here's what's so interesting is that dogs have been that bridge to allow me to do that. And so when we talked earlier about this man's best friend and knowing animals for all these years, I think it's because dogs are such a safe place for us. It's this unconditional love that they give us. And for that reason, man, like, I've decided, like, I'm dedicating a movement to dogs to pay back.
Absolutely. Hey, this is off subject, but I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Do Do you know where Montage is now? Because I know that you knew kind of where she went. Do you know where she is now?
Yeah, so on the low, I mean, I don't think I could get caught now, if so, I don't really give a shit. But so when so this is crazy, guys. My numbers were so good for my business, okay, that even though my name was demolished online and on the news and everywhere else, I still sold that business for I'll just say over 100K.
Okay.
Cash. I sold that business, and part of the terms were they got both of my dogs as well.
Yeah.
And so I was still able to say hello here and there and see Montage a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And so where she's at, I've been in avoidance, is my truth.
Okay.
Right? I would imagine she's transitioned.
Okay.
And so I've been in avoidance is what's really what it's been. At the same time, here's what's so crazy. It's because I think about her so much. And I know it's going to sound woo-woo and weird to some, and others are going to get it right away. But I can call her in, and I can feel her presence.
Man, I had a psychic on the other day. These people are going to love this shit.
Yeah.
So you feel like you got a little touch with Montage in the hereafter there.
Yeah, it really takes an openness and have an open heart, and I can do it with a couple of other people. Now, I don't say that I can channel, although I can channel when I'm working with a client and dog, and I can channel sometimes in business. But it's more about I just get this incredible insight and I just share it. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways, yeah, man, I can you jump to my lap. It's trippy, and so I find that very interesting about life. How we deal with the deceased, where yes, we can't physically touch them, but if we can still feel their presence as if they're there through our emotions and our mind, I think that there's still an existence there.
Maybe they're just on the other side of a veil you can't see.
That's right. Yeah, and I think that's super interesting.
I mean, I mean, I could go down that road of the science and the dimensions that you can touch in different places, but no. Yeah, hey, I love it that Montage is still jumping up in your lap. I think, like I said, one of the best dogs in my life have ever come across. But and I know how important and a part of your life she was. But the next question is, man, you are a dog trainer, so where the heck's the pooch at? Where's the dog at? I got to see. Are you hiding the dog in the backyard or something? Or
You're right. Zeus is in the backyard, man. So my current dog is a Belgian Malinois. And man, this dog's gorgeous. Have me on again, man, and I'll bring him and we'll do some tricks and stuff.
All right.
So here's the thing: Zeus is a true Malinois, and so he'll bark during interviews. And so how crazy is that, right? This is my vulnerable moment. And before, Montage, I wouldn't take none of that. My dogs didn't bark. And so remember, I said this relationship is a little bit different, where I allow Zeus to express a piece of who and what he is without trying to hold it all back. However, it does bother me because it hits my ego. And so I'm learning to have this compromise with dogs and other people in my life where it's this irks me, but I want you to be who you are. So that's why he's in the backyard, man, is straight up reason why.
Gotcha. Well, I'll just have to have Zeus on the show by himself so he can talk all he wants.
That dog, man, Zeus is nuts. This dog loves the camera. He was on Good Morning. We were on Good Morning Britain the other day, and live TV, and Zeus is just doing his own thing, and he just loves it, man. It's a trip. It really is.
Nice. Well, awesome, man. Hey, thanks, bro, for doing this. Anything else you want to tell? Where can people find you? I know it's the world of dogtraining.com, right?
That's right, yeah. And then, I'm doing the public speaking stuff too, and I'm doing some business consulting, and so that's IamRyanMatthews.com. And for social media, it's I am Ryan Matthews as well. And if your audience is women, man, I'm confident that they're dog people. So I just wanted to drop this. It's going to be really valuable. If I can just drop the secrets to dog training, can we give them that right now?
Oh, absolutely. I ain't rushing you off. You're going to tell them how to. You're going to give it all away, bro.
Yeah, man.
All right, so
I'm going to give it all away.
Here's the deal. Y'all listen up. He's about to teach y'all something.
So check it out. Here's what's funny, man, is that since I seen you last in person, my price has gone up a little bit. You know, it's hundreds of dollars an hour now.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were approached by a major network recently to do a TV show too. And then so TV's coming. And then once that happens, it's going to be even more. So,
Y'all getting this on Dad with the Phone a year from now. It's over. I'm gonna have to go through a damn agent. I can't be Facebooking him to get him on the show. So,
no, man.
Yeah, so tell us about what your system is. Tell us what it is, man.
You know what's crazy is like, I remember, so first of all, for the audience, like I've trained over 3,000 dogs. And with that, you learn a lot by just defaulting through observation. And I have this perfectionist side of me. And so, but I would just go through the motions of like, okay, this is how you do it. But I didn't really understand that I had a true system until we were going to franchise off leash. And I started to create a manual. And so here's what it takes, folks, to train any dog unless they have a neurological defect. This literally will work for any dog, okay? All we need is a little bit of motivation, preferably like a desire for food or reward, and we can get just about anything we want. So it's really 4 things, and it's known as RCTR, and I talk about it on my first TEDx talk. You can Google TEDx Ryan Matthews, and it's the 18-minute talk, okay? And it's overcoming PTSD using dog training techniques. Now, RCTR stands for number 1, repetition, okay? And so whether we get a puppy or an older dog, and here's what's really cool. They say, like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So that's only true with spouses. That's like the joke, right?
Okay,
so
gotcha.
You can train a dog at any age, so don't worry that you got a 5-year-old dog. When you want to teach a new behavior, you all need to repeat over and over the same behavior to lock it in the dog's brain. You want a few hundred repetitions, okay? So number 1, repetition. Number 2 is consistency. You have to follow through. You see, your dog will be as good as you insist or demand. And I remember, Michael, how great you all did with your dog. And I also wanted to acknowledge the passing of your dog. I saw on social media.
Yeah, Blue ended up touching more lives than I could ever imagine. We, for many of you guys that have seen Blue, I actually retired to my parents' house, and because he was completely trained, my dad, who probably wouldn't have gone on walks, who wouldn't have taken the dog, my dad took that dog everywhere in like his retired life, and so that dog went down to Mexico, Texas, I mean everywhere, and so awesome, and all because the dog was controllable, trained, loved, had a bond, understood. And even though your methods may have trained, you've been teaching this, reward and repetition and consistency. And like most of dog training is actually training people, isn't it?
100%. That's right.
It's really So keep telling us about your system.
So we got repetition, consistency. You were so consistent with Blue that he knew you'd follow through. So he would follow through. So you all, and now your audience is women. So here's what's my audience is women as well. That's who comes to me for training. And so I want to empower the women to step into your power and follow through with what you say you mean. Okay? Mean what you say and say what you mean, and follow through with your pet. Okay? So we got repetition, consistency. 3rd is timing. Now this is so important, but we often overlook this. And it's really this simple. You have 1 second to either correct or reward behavior. And we know that through actually science. It's called Pavlov's Law. It's that whole thing where the dog would salivate when it heard a bell. And so for those of you that have puppies and the puppy goes potty and then you come home to it and then you scold your dog, you're actually wrong for that. Because your dog does not make the association of why you're mad. Does the dog know you're mad? Yes. But it's reading your body language. Okay? It's reading your body language. Just like people, dogs communicate about 90% something, about 90-something, should I say, nonverbal. All right? And so, a dog doesn't know why you're pissed, just knows you're pissed. Okay? You have 1 second to praise and reward. Reward and correct. Now that matters so that the animal's mind makes the association. You want that, you don't want that. And I'm a big believer in you reward when impressed, and you correct for things that you don't want. Often with dog training, there's the foo-foo dog trainers that only reward, and then there's the compulsion ones that they just correct. And I believe in using it all. And that's one element of where we're different. And then the last one is reward. Reward matters, and if you think about it, it works with people as well. Positive reinforcement. It's like that whole good job, or I really appreciated you doing such and such. We're just doing the same thing with the dog by giving them a toy or giving them some food, whatever they desire. You want to use whatever they really get excited about, okay? And so it's repetition, consistency, timing, and reward. Now, when you apply those 4 things, you also want to do this in a systematically simple to complex approach. Because here's what you all do, meaning the public, you at home, is you tell your dog to sit and stay, and then you have never had your dog sit and stay for 10 seconds, but you go all the way to the other side of the house thinking the dog's still going to stay. But that's not a reasonable expectations, right? And so you hear those SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. You apply a damn SMART goal to the dog training, okay? It's not realistic because your dog has never shown you that proficiency. So we all need to slow down, break things up into chunks. That's what I do, man. Like, we could train a dog to take a drink, a beer, or water out of the fridge, and you're like, wow, how do you do that? Easy. I break down something that is 20 steps into 1 step at a time. First, I teach the dog to pull on a towel. And then I attach the towel to the handle of the fridge. You just break it all down. And so it works in life as well, right? We think about that big goal. Now, don't worry about all that. Just chunk it, 1 step after the other, okay? And so simple to complex in everything that we do, break it down, like reverse engineer it if you have to, okay? So we got repetition, consistency, timing, and reward, applying a simple to complex approach. And so that's a huge part of the magic. And the other part is this. Yeah.
Everything else, and it's kind of like anything you could do with the trainer, right? A yoga trainer is going to teach you, standing there watching you correct you, right? But if you were to just take that method and just practice it, am I being consistent with my dog? Am I being, and you can train a dog to do anything. And I've done it just recently with my puppies and stuff, going, oh man, I'm gonna have to start working with this dog if I'm actually gonna believe this crap that Ryan's teaching. So it's awesome, it's cool, man. And y'all just got a free freaking dog training lesson. We should have charged them for that, though.
Man.
People see more of your stuff. Where can, and over, do you have classes online? You have e-classes and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, the e-classes are coming, man. In fact, we uploaded 90 so far. There's 90 3 to 5 minute videos on everything from aggression to leash pulling to potty training to dog parks and why they suck. I'm dropping knowledge. I'm talking about dog psychology. And so here's what's been the fundamental difference is now I teach people how to interact with their dogs and to train their dogs sometimes without ever saying a word. And so I teach them how to read the body language. So we're still doing the food. We're still doing the clicker, the leash, even e-collar at times for off-leash control. But I use this whole communicate without saying a word. And you can use it, for example, with your dog not bolting out the front door. Your dog will not go out the front door without you ever saying a word. Okay? And it has to do with your body language and you all stepping into your power. And I'm not talking about dominating your dog. I'm talking about you being confident, full certainty that dog's not going out the door. And once you have that confidence, the dog feels it and they know it. And you also give it the attention that it deserves. You're fully present. And by the way, that'll work with your spouse too. Right? Be fully present.
How many wives have you had?
1.
Okay, just check. I'm just making sure. See if it worked. And no children yet. Will it work with my kids?
So this has also been part of my
trans. My kids, Ryan. Can I get callers for my kids?
But I always say, like, hey man, can you train my kids too? And so the other part of my transformation has been to really make my wrongs right, man. And so I've really been looking at where have I fallen short? Where could I have done better? And one of them is something that I've kept secret for years that I recently came public about, and that is that I have a 12-year-old daughter in Georgia that I disowned 12 years ago because I've been a boy in a man's body most of my entire life, man. And so I now own that, and I went to visit her 2 years ago, and I'm now somewhat involved. Of course, I'm in Cali, she's in Georgia, but I've been able to to work on making that wrong a right, and to again truly own it. And I gotta tell you, like, it's so freeing as we don't let our mistakes or these things define us, but learn from it and then just not repeat it, you know. And so, yeah, I do have a daughter, but you know, Zeus is certainly like a kid, and you know, I've always been big into don't humanize animals. Yet my dog sleeps in bed with me, and you know, I believe in this balance. And like, look, that's not common for dog trainers, but this is that compromise, and I think it really is important.
Because I remember there was a time you would walk into a store, put Montage on place, and be in there 20 minutes, come out, and she better still be on place.
Oh yeah,
You know, and or like you said, you wouldn't. You know, it was this different. So it's awesome to hear that, though.
yeah, man.
Yeah, you're lighting up in your old age.
Yeah, man, it's only taken almost 40 years. You know, I just turned 39 a couple weeks ago. But yeah, man, so the online course is being created. Here's why. So that we can reduce euthanasia. Close to 2 million pets are killed every year, euthanasia. And I want to be a part of reducing that. That's my way of giving back. And so my goal is once this thing's live, this online dog training on demand, I want to get that into every rescue and give the rescue half the proceeds, and it'll be online dog training support so that when you rescue a dog, not knowing how to train it is no longer an excuse. You don't return a dog because it's naughty anymore. Okay?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then we're doing the CBD for pets as well so that we can get CBD into the shelter environment so that it can be calmer, reduce the stress, reduce disease. And I think that with the dogs being a little bit calmer, they'll be more adoptable as well.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's some fun stuff I didn't even know about.
Yeah, and then so
Dogs are getting the weed now. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, man. So no THC, THC free for right now, so we can get it out globally. And so here's the other exciting thing that I've been doing is I'm taking dog lessons and applying them into the business world. So like, motivate your sales team the same way you motivate a dog, or let's give our staff the same attention and the same way we treat dogs, right? And so I'm talking about dog behavior psychology and training, and then applying it to business.
Nice.
That's one of the new movements we're working on.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
I'm pumped.
yeah, man, it's good stuff. So about to get a second book deal, and so that's really exciting from a major publisher. TV show's coming. I have my own show on hold, but I'm holding out to get a major network deal. And really, it's just about this. It's just about sharing.
Absolutely.
Just about sharing, so that, you know, again, if dogs can be more well behaved, dogs aren't getting hit by cars, right? There's less dog fights. I mean, it's really, and if we think about what all they do for us, don't we owe it to them to be like very responsible dog owners, right? And not setting them up for failure because they don't know our human experience and environment. We bring them into all this craziness of our human experience. I think we owe it to them to really be very responsible and not set our dogs up for failure, you know?
I'm with you, man. It's absolutely awesome, bro.
Yeah, man.
I love it, man. All right, Brian. Thank you. I know we've been trying to
thank
do
you,
you
man.
for a minute and get you on here. I know I've been talking about you for a couple of weeks just because I was excited when we got it booked, and man, I'm excited to see what happens in the next few years. So
Yeah.
hey, thanks for your time, and we'll be in touch, bro.
Yeah, and then hey, one last thing. I know we didn't talk about this. I wanna. It's actually just hooking up your audience, man. Like, I want to publicly thank you for you've been riding with me from day one, and you never turned your back on me. You did ask me, hey man, what's going on? Like, you called me out, but you've always ridden with me, and so I'm always here for you, regardless of whatever I'm up to. And all you need to do is say the word, and I got your six, as we say in the military. And, you know, as a thank you for who you are and what all you've done for me, one is I'm here for you, whatever it is that you need. I mean, I'm getting pretty damn connected, man, number one. But number two is I want to gift your audience as a way of saying thank you for you always having my back. And so if your audience emails me, I'm going to give them my email. I'm going to give them a gift. And so all they got to do is email Ryan at worldofdogtraining.com. I'm going to give all your listeners, just put in your name, Dad with a phone in the subject, so I know it's legit. And I'm going to give them a gift. Again, that's because they're listening to you, they're supporting you, I support you, and I love you, man, and I appreciate this opportunity.
Bro, you're awesome. I love it, man. Hey, thank you, Ryan.
Right on, brother.
Be in touch, man. I love it.
All right, take care.
Take it easy. Get out of here. Get out of here. Man, look at y'all. Look at y'all getting all that right here on Dad with a Phone, man. I love the people I've met in life. That's all I can tell you. Man, I've met some of the best in life. That's all I'm going to give you is the best. So, hey, thanks for joining tonight. Ryan Matthews, worldofdogtraining.com. You just heard it. Email him at Ryan at worldofdogtraining.com. Get you a gift. Tell him Dad with the Phone sent you. Y'all thought y'all were just going to hear about dog training. Ryan just dropped How to Have a Better Life. That man's been through some shit, and he's come through it, and he's walked through it. He's owned it, and I'm proud to call him one of my friends. I'm glad that I've watched it and known it. And so, again, I want to say thank you for watching Dad with a Phone. If you need to find me, you can find me at all the links below. You guys know what my channel's about, but you also know in 2020, I'm trying to bring y'all something different than just true crime all the time. We need some good crap in our life. And so I'm introducing to you some of the best people I've met in my life. And so thanks for watching. We'll continue to have some good guests on. We've got some exciting ones planned in the next coming days. We'll talk to you guys later. Out.